Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, this is the Reader's Wand and I am Ashley. So today I will be doing the Bookternet All-Stars Charity Challenge. This was created by Rachel at Rachael Reads, and this is essentially every video that is made will donate €1 to a COVID-19 relief fund, which is fantastic. We love to see it. And so let's get started. I will essentially be talking about some of the internet's favorite books and talking about our authors and talking about if I have read them. So first up is Angie Thomas. I haven't read anything by Angie Thomas. The Hate U Give and On the Come Up are on my TBR. They're both social commentaries into Black Lives Matter, police brutality, and that whole conversation. The first one was adapted into a movie, and I've heard, nothing but great things. I don't think I've ever heard a single person that didn't like the books, so it just, I need to get to it. So next is Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. Is that the author? Yes? Okay. I have not read it, obviously. I think that I'm not, as you'll see, I'm not like a very good person at like jumping on the hype train. So some of these I have read and some of these I have not. Some of them I loved, some I didn't. But Shatter Me, I think I read like 15% of the first one and never picked it up again. So I think it's just like a regular dystopian deal, so, So next is Leigh Bardugo. So I have read Six of Crows and The Crooked Kingdom, which is the second book in the duology. I DNF'd Ninth House at about like 20%, and I haven't read any of the Grishaverse books, trilogy things. I started Shadow and Bone and just didn't continue it. And I think that's it as far as her works. I don't dislike her writing. I just think that the Grishaverse, the writing was just a little too underdeveloped for me. And then Six of Crows was great. I haven't heard fantastic things about King of Scars. And then Ninth House was just like her first foray into adult, and it was like super info dumpy, and so I just wasn't a fan. So then comes The Cruel Prince. This is my favorites shelf, and as you can see, the entire trilogy is right there. I am like halfway obsessed with this series. Also, these covers are stunning. Like, they really did that with these covers. I mean, we'll admit they did Cruel Prince kind of dirty, but Wicked King and Queen of Nothing are just like absolutely beautiful. And if I had the like correct shelves, I would most definitely display them. But I don't. I loved this series. I completely 100% agree with the hype. I think that, can we not? Can we get this together? Can I have this? Thank you. I 100% agree with the hype. I think Jude is one of the best YA protagonists I have ever read. And I think that the romance in the I think that this series was peddled as a romance, and it wasn't. It had a subplot of romance, but I think the overall story was just Jude being a complete badass and doing what she needed to do to get what she wanted, and I loved it. So I gave all of them, I want to say 4 out of 5. But yeah, just so good. Just if you like me and don't really get on hype trains, you should get on the hype train with that one because so good. The Bone Witch, I actually just read this for my reading the lowest rated books on my TBR, and I ended up DNFing it. Mega boring. It's like a girl that's like a necromancer, I guess, and that's all I know because nothing happened. V.E. Schwab, I haven't read a single book by V.E. Schwab. I have heard good things. I think I have Vicious on my TBR, and it's like about 2 rival magicians or wizards or something. And then her Darker Shade of Magic series is allegedly really good, so maybe one day. So Lunar Chronicles, I read Cinder and then I DNF'd it. I read a graphic novel of hers and didn't finish it, so I'm just kind of giving up on my friendship with her. Next is Adam Silvera. I have not read a single book by him. I don't even know what he writes. After that is Cassandra Clare. If you have watched any of my videos, you know that I absolutely adore Cassandra Clare. She's always been like a comfort author for me. I read her when I was very young, and her writing just gets better and better. My favorite series is The Infernal Devices, but I think Chain of Gold is like my second. It's up there. I haven't read any of her short story collections. I've heard not stellar things about them, so I'm kind of like trying not to have any bad feelings about Cassandra Clare. Next is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is imagine like a fictional Marilyn Monroe, and that's what this is about. And she's getting like interviewed, I guess. And I DNF'd it. I wasn't a fan. I don't really like the famous people trope. I find it kind of boring and I'm not really interested in it. So I was just not really into it. I listened to the audiobook for Daisy Jones and the Six, and I think I gave it like a 3, just because the audiobook was stunning. Like, each character had their own voice actor, and I think it was an amazing production, but the story wasn't appealing to me. I mean, I like the story as in, like, it's a rock and roll group, but the actual, like, you know what I'm trying to say. Next is Laini Taylor. I have only read Strange the Dreamer. I think I gave it a 3 or a 2. I wasn't a huge fan. I think that she really gets praised for her, like, lyrical writing, and I just didn't really think that it was all that lyrical. Like, as someone that is like obsessed with Erin Morgenstern, that to me is lyrical. That to me is like the most beautiful prose ever. And so Laini Taylor was just like the, I guess, YA version of Erin Morgenstern, which there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's like max lyrical, which is like Erin Morgenstern, and not everybody likes that, you know. Some people just want like a little bit sprinkled in there. But I just think I had really, really high expectations going into this, because it was a lot of people's like favorite book and everybody loved it, and I wasn't a fan. Illuminae, I have not read a single one. Don't know if I plan on it. It sounds interesting and I like the mixed media aspect of it, but I probably won't pick it up anytime soon. Scythe, I did read with my book club, and we are reading the second book this month, Thunderhead. I gave the first one 3 stars. It was okay. It's like an interesting concept, but there were a lot of like execution issues that I had. I really felt like one character was developed way more than the other one. I think that the antagonist was like, the way that the antagonist went out was sort of anticlimactic, and I think it was just too much. It was just too much. But I want to continue with the second one and see how I feel. Sarah J. Maas, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses and The Throne of Glass. I did not like either of them. I thought A Court of Thorns and Roses was like just really average, like really, really, really average, like nothing spectacular about it. And I could not stand the main character in Throne of Glass. And yeah, I didn't like either of them. An Ember in the Ashes, I also DNF'd this book, so it seems like every book that I have read, I've DNF'd. I just thought it was boring. It's essentially like a resistance infiltrating an academy of the government that we're trying to overthrow situation, and next is Seanan McGuire. I have read the first book in the Wayward Children series. I think it's called Every Heart a Doorway. I didn't dislike it. I thought it was too short to really develop. I think that the kind of grim feelings we were trying to go for with this series wasn't really accomplished, and the fantastical element wasn't really either. This is essentially a series about kids that, well, like, what happens to them once they come back from places like Neverland. And from like what I've heard, every other book is like a filler book, like them in the real world, and then the second book is like a magical world, and like so on and so forth. But I think the shortness of the books just really did a disservice for me, but other people really got something special out of it, and I think that's great. And I heard Middle Game's good. So, To All the Boys I Have Loved Before, I haven't read, haven't watched the movie. I'm not really interested in it. I don't know. I think it's just not my romance. I'm just not interested in it. And then last is Poppy War. I also have not read this book. Don't know what it's about. I've heard good things. Maybe I'll pick it up. But yeah. So that is my Bookternet All-Stars Charity Challenge tag. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I don't have anyone to tag in particular, so if you guys want to do this, I think it's for a very great cause. I will have all of the information linked down below in my description. And if you want to participate, feel free, comment that you have, because I would love to watch y'all's videos. And I will see you guys in my next one. Thanks.